2023 is a year where a lot is going to change in the field of remote work and finding online jobs. And if you have been on the fence about jumping on board, whether it's to look for a part-time or full-time job, I am telling you this is the year for you. In this video, I want to share with you the top predictions for the remote work industry in 2023 that are going to encourage you to take that leap and finally bet on yourself. Let's go. Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Clementine Afana, but you can call me Dr. Clem, and I teach busy people like you how to find remote work opportunities so that you can earn more and afford your dreams. One of my dreams has been to travel around the world, and I've been able to do that by working remotely at different stages of my life. If you are interested in this adventure, make sure that you subscribe and turn on your post notifications so that you are the first one to know every single time I release a video about remote work and companies hiring. I also share experiences about everywhere I'm going and places where you can go for short weekend getaways or vacations so that you can maximize your time and live your best life. So if you want to be a part of this amazing adventure, make sure that you also subscribe and turn on your post notifications. Finally, as a business owner and as an entrepreneur, I am having a unique and amazing conference happening in March of this year, 2023, in Dominica at the Fort Young Hotel. If you are a business owner, whether you just started or you have been in business for a while, but you haven't been able to meet your income goals and your impact goals, this conference is for you. We have an amazing lineup of speakers who are going to talk about how you can pivot even when the economy is hard, how you can scale your business regardless of what other people are doing, how you can pitch to big companies, land corporate deals, and make a lot more money and have a lot more impact. If you want to be a part of this adventure, I'm going to include a link to this event in the description box of this video. Sign up, save your spot. We only have 30 spots available because this is an in-person event. And if you're not a business owner but you know somebody who is, make sure you share this with them. The first remote work trend that we see is going to be a big deal in 2023 is hybrid work. Now, during the pandemic, a lot of companies experimented with having people working remotely and then at some point returning to in-person work after the pandemic. But now, because they have seen that this model has actually given a lot of good results, a lot more people are investing in having the hybrid work model. A lot of companies are also hiring people who are willing to work. So if you're somebody who wants to get started working remotely, but you also enjoy having the in-person physical experience, you know, the hybrid work model is something that is going to be even more trendy in 2023. The second trend that we foresee to be a big deal in 2023 in the field of remote work is a focus on mental health. Yes, the problem with working remotely is that because your home is your office, most people actually are not able to have a home office in their homes, at least when they get started. So you will generally be working either from your bedroom or you'll be working from the common living room and so forth. So because your home is your office, a lot of times it's difficult for you to actually know how to detach from work mode to home and relaxation mode, versus when you are in an office, a physical office at your current job or in the standard way in which people work, right? From the time you leave your workplace, you get home, there's already this automatic mental transition where you know that I'm going home, so I'm going to be relaxing or doing other non-work stuff. So because remote work happens at home in general, you know, a lot of people have been having mental health issues because you're not able to detach from your work. So a lot of companies right now are emphasizing and putting guidelines in place to help support employees and team members' mental health. So that is definitely something to look out for in 2023. The third trend that is on the rise when it comes to remote work in 2023 is work-life balance. Similar to the topic of mental health, a lot of people feel like it's difficult to detach from work, and sometimes you can either start working very earlier than what you will normally do if you were working in a physical workplace, and you end up working very late. So because a lot of companies are putting in place policies to ensure that employees have work-life balance, it is going to continue to help them hire the best talent. And if you're interested in finding out companies that are hiring remotely internationally, whether you are located in the Caribbean, in Africa, in Asia, in India, wherever you are, even if it's not Europe, the US or Canada, make sure you check out my remote work directory. I'm going to include a link in the description box. Freelancing platforms have been on the rise for the past few years, and in 2023 we are predicting that they are going to skyrocket and become an even bigger. Now, before the pandemic, a lot of people were already on freelancing platforms, finding remote work opportunities. But now, statistics have shown that since the pandemic and into the later end of 2022, the number of people who have signed up for freelancing platforms has tremendously increased, and we are anticipating it to be even bigger in 2023. So if you're sleeping on signing up for freelance platforms, please wake up, because a lot more companies, a lot more businesses, a lot more business owners are going to be on these platforms to seek for talent, whether it is in content writing, customer service, web development, IT, translation, teaching, and so forth. The time is now. The top freelancing platforms are getting more and more popular and getting more and more people signing up on them. And if you're looking for a remote job, you should be on them. If you want to find out the top freelancing platforms that I recommend when it comes to searching for remote jobs, make sure you comment under this video, and I'm going to share with you an article where I lay down every single thing in terms of the platforms that I recommend. One trend that we are foreseeing being a big deal in 2023 is a focus on productivity tracking. Now, I know that when you hear remote work, or when you search anything about remote work, people advertise working from home or working from the beach and all those things. And it's important for you to know that when you're working remotely, you are actually working, right? Some of us, we have the wrong idea to believe that remote work means that you're working whenever you want, whatever you do. But even though it's partially true, it's also important to remember that you have to be productive. You have to be able to produce a return on investment. You have to be able to do the work. So companies and employers are actually going to be focusing a lot on productivity tracking to see what you are doing during your work hours, during your work days, and make sure that you are actually putting in a day's work. What we have seen, whether it's on freelancing platforms or whether it's from companies hiring people directly out of those platforms, what we've seen is that a lot of people do not produce enough work for a work day as you should, whether you are working a full-time shift or a part-time shift. And so a lot of companies are going to really be using different types of productivity trackers to make sure that what the work that you're supposed to do is actually being done during work. Now, this is not to say that they're going to be on your tail and they're going to be marking you to make sure that you get the work done. But for you, this is actually an opportunity to make sure that when you are working with companies, you focus on being productive so that you can actually have more free time for you to do the things that you love doing and you want to do during your cybersecurity is a big deal, and this is also going to be a huge trend in 2023. With everything now moving to the internet and the cloud and having these talks about digitalization of everything, you know that whenever there is something positive, you always have a negative counterpart that just comes and try to spoil the whole fun. So cybersecurity is going to be a huge focus for companies that are hiring remotely. There's going to be a lot of cybersecurity trainings at different companies with different employers, and this is also a niche and opportunity for you if you are looking to learn more or about the field, or if you have tech skills or IT skills. You can decide to specialize in cybersecurity and offer your services to different companies hiring remotely, because trust me, every business owner out there wants to make sure that their employees data, their customers data, and basically all the online data is kept safe and secure. So cybersecurity is definitely going to be something on the rise for 2023. Alongside with all the other things that are going to be trending in 2023 in the field of remote work, we have to talk about virtual interviews. Now, I know my people from the Caribbean, from Africa, we don't really like to be on camera, and generally when I have my Zoom calls with my coaching clients, they don't put their cameras on. Yes, ladies, I'm talking to you and I'm talking about you, ladies and gents. So virtual interviews are going to continue being on the rise as they have been for the past few years. In fact, I've even seen that companies that even hire people for in-person positions, they tend to now have virtual interviews as part of their interview components, just to be able to give everybody a fair share of like a fair experience when it comes to interviews, because not everybody is always able to make it in person for an in-person interview. A lot of companies are going to be focusing a lot more on virtual interviews, which means for you, the remote job seeker, it's important for you to be familiar with virtual interview platforms like Zoom. You need to know how to share your screen. You need to know how to unmute yourself and mute yourself. You need to know how to set up your lights, your cameras, your backgrounds. You need to know how to raise your hands, how to use different Zoom features and so forth. So you really want to be well versed in software like that. There are other software and other tools like Skype. You have Microsoft Teams, and a few more virtual interview software. So when you go out there, put yourself out there and apply for online job positions, you need to be familiar with at least a few of the virtual interview platforms so that you can shine already from the get. One of my favorite things that I've noticed, and it's going to be a trend in 2023 when it comes to remote work, is diversity in recruitment. And I'm speaking to you, my people from the Caribbean and from Africa and from Asia and from India. Diversity in recruitment. More and more employers, business owners, companies, and enterprises are realizing that talent is not just narrowed within a specific geographical area, and they are actively seeking international talent. They are actively seeking international. They want to have people from different backgrounds, different nationalities, different life experiences, and different cultures, because at the end of the day, that diversity actually enriches a company's culture. So if you are still at home and you're sleeping on yourself and you're doubting whether or not clients and companies are looking for you, let this be your sign that they are looking for you. Make sure you are clear on your skills categories. What do you have to offer? What do you bring to the table? Make sure you are clear on who you want to apply to. Make sure you know where to find them and put yourself out there, because companies are looking for you, and you will only be able to get the opportunity if you put yourself out there. Another super popular trend for 2023 when it comes to remote work is health insurance. Now, I know earlier in the video I talked about mental health and work-life balance, but similar to it, we also have health insurance, which is going to be a big deal and a factor or a perk that companies are going to be offering to their employees or prospective employees. So because we know that in-person companies usually give you benefits like health insurance and retirement plans and so forth, companies in the remote work field also want to be competitive and get the best talent. That's why they're going to be offering health insurance as one of the perks of signing up with the company. So you really want to make sure that you put yourself out there, you go for those remote jobs, because I can see that the field is continuously developing and companies are trying to be more competitive because they want to get the best talent. The final trend in the field of remote work, which I'm particularly excited about, is async communication. Now, what is async communication? Sync means synchronize, right? When you say we are in sync, that means that we are synchronized. That means it's happening at the same time. Async means asynchronous, so it's not happening at the same time. It means that if you're working with a company, you don't need to be logged in at the same hours as everybody else is logged in, as long as you do your work. I've experienced that personally, where I have worked with companies from Europe, from Australia. I don't think I've worked with companies from China, but from Europe, from Australia, from Africa, where I was in a different time zone, and as long as I was doing my work, I was fine. I didn't need to be logged in person like at the same time as everybody. So this is going to be a trend in 2023, especially because a lot of companies are going to be hiring people from around the world. Again, the Caribbean, Asia, Africa, India, and so forth. So they know that we have those time zone differences, and they understand that at the end of the day, the output is what matters the most, so that you can help your company move forward. Alright, this wraps up this video on the trends in remote work in 2023. Let me know which one of these trends you are the most excited about. I'm looking forward to hearing from you in the comments.